Hey Tim, this is blog entry number 7 of the week, and I actually have a special guest with me today, Ian G. I don't know if you remember him, Ian G or not, but he's sitting in today while I record. So this week's blog asks us to talk about student groupings, and I'm got it all typed up on my laptop, but I thought I'd record a video. I'm actually excited to talk about what I've observed in this sense. The lessons taught at University of Windsor have been carried into these classrooms at my placement, and actually Ian here is one of these ones that really exemplifies some of those lessons at St. Thomas Aquinas. While there's no real defined seating chart in the classrooms, and they're free to sit whoever or with whoever they wish, students are encouraged to explore different seating, and especially in the shop setting, it's a totally different animal. And students are encouraged to work with different classmates during class projects, and in order to get to know their fellow classmates. If students are hesitant to find new members to work with, i.e., they just want to work with the same 3 people every time, which we've seen in the past, teachers here are more than happy to intervene and make them make new connections, if you get what I'm getting at there. I think that's really important because it helps set a dynamic class situation, which is very fluid. And it always makes me go back to how I thought it was so strange that Tim first introduced this concept to us while we were in Windsor. There are at times, especially when I'm observing my AT deliver a lesson, that I'll even find different locations around the classroom in order to set an example of not being stationary to students. In terms of developing lesson plans, I really haven't finalized any lesson plans yet. I've been really busy learning a lot of the programs around here. We use programs like SketchUp, uh, a program called VCarve. We have a laser in the room next to us over here that we engrave things on as well. So I'm starting to get my hands into that a little bit. But I've been doing a lot of the stuff at night, some of the programming stuff. I'm going home at night and learning some of that. But I am trying to develop some lesson plans. I'm trying to draw from inspiration from what we're already being taught here at St. Thomas Aquinas. And one of the items that I'm currently working on building right now and getting ready to deliver is a candy dispenser, which is right here. And the whole idea behind this is there's a mason jar on top that your candy goes into, and there's 2 aligned holes there. And when you slide this hole out, it dumps candy into this little reservoir right there. Now, I drew a picture on the board that is completely awful, and I was actually going to take credit for this design, but I changed my mind as I was getting ready to record this. But one lesson plan that I am working on right now, and I don't know that it's going to get off the ground this year or not, is I want to build a lobster trap. And I grabbed that inspiration from a project that I saw here in the shop, which is this little basket that students have made in the past. And I thought it'd be quite easy to turn it into a lobster trap. I've already secured some netting and some rings, and we're basically just going to follow this design, but with a flattened bottom here and netting on the side. Another project that I'll be working on very soon, preparing, may even start trying to do it myself today, is building a shadow box. Not a very good drawing on the board right there, but I think a shadow box would be a really cool, exciting project for students where they can put a keepsake in there, maybe give it to their parents or a friend or a sibling. And who doesn't love a good shadow box, right? I came up with that idea because of the brick from Fenway Park that I always talk about ad nauseum. And I need to put that in a shadow box myself because it's starting to fall apart. So I thought if I can develop a lesson plan around it, it'd be a great way for me to build a box, learn how to do some of the joinery and things like that in the shop, use all the machines, and give something exciting for the kids too. I'm trying not to overthink, and that's where I started to fail immediately. And Ian has been a great source. And we have another teacher here named Steve Derbyshire, who's been here for like 800 years, I would say. Pretty old guy. He's telling me I need to stop overthinking a lot of what I'm trying to develop in lesson plans. Because I am working with grade 9s who have never touched a machine before. And initially I was going to make a fiberglass goalie mask. And one of the teachers said, like, listen, man, like, it's interesting for me, but are the kids going to be interested in it? And then you're working with a lot of chemicals and things like that, and you're introducing into a lot more advanced technology than they might be ready for. And thinking back to lesson planning at the University of Windsor that Tim had initially taught us, I'm trying to find out ways to incorporate the curriculum into a lot of these lesson plans. It's super easy, actually. The more that I get comfortable with this, the more I realize the curriculum is very easy to slide into every project that we're doing. And all three of these examples right here cover overall expectations of the A1, A2, A3, which are demonstrate an understanding of the fundamental concepts and skills required in the planning and development of product or service. We got a product or services here. The planning is we build every one of these on SketchUp prior to making them. At least we do with this one anyway, but I'm going to make this on SketchUp as well. So that covers the planning and development portion. Uh, Demonstrate the ability to use a variety of appropriate methods to communicate ideas and solutions. Again, this could be verbally, it could be through the computer programming that we're doing. It could also be with their hands-on experience in the shop settings. And evaluate products and or services in relation to specs, requirements, or operating conditions. This one specifically, operating conditions. If we are doing this project and this is not sliding, we are not meeting operating conditions. It's a great way to assess students on their final project in that sense. In terms of the B strand, which is technological skills, the overall expectations, use problem-solving processes and project management strategies in the planning and fabrication of products. Again, problem-solving. If your parts aren't working, if they're not sliding as they should, back to the drawing board. If you're designing on these SketchUp programs that we have and your measurements aren't working out, you're going to have to incorporate some of that problem-solving skills as well. Fabricate products or deliver services. Again, we're fabricating here nonstop, every one of these projects, so that's covered as well. And when it comes to getting into specific expectations, I can draw from a lot more of these key points in here. Technology, the environment, and society. This one is where I always struggle at drawing from in the curriculum, or drawing it from the curriculum into what we're doing. But demonstrate an awareness of the effects of various technologies on the environment. Well, we could discuss with the lobster trap why using this is better for our oceans and waters rather than using metal, for example, in the waters and the corrosion and what that does to the water and things like that. Demonstrate an awareness of various technologies and how they affect society and how society influences technological developments. Again, drawing back to metal traps that we are currently using right now, we could argue that putting wood into the water and the effects of the wood on the water versus steel in the water, how it would necessitate a change for back to something like this, or a material that is less destructive to the environment. Shadow boxes, how they affect the environment. Well, one of the items that I was talking about, that brick that I have from Fenway Park, because it is exposed to the elements right now, and I want to put it in a protective casing because it's starting to crumble because it's so old. This is what inspired this idea right here, is to protect and preserve that piece of memorabilia that I have. In professional practice under Strand D, this is the easy one. Follow safe practices and procedures while using materials, tools, and equipment. That is actually D1, and that is one of the ones where at all times in our shops here, we're using all these machines, and I'll just give you a little pan of the room here. As you can see, we have countless machines in the shop, and we have to stress at all times and reinforce to our students to work safely, use proper safety procedures, which I joke about it quite often, but I'm having to relearn how to use equipment safely because I've been doing it wrong for my entire career. In order to successfully teach that to students, I have to learn how to do it properly as well. So it's a good learning experience for me, that's for sure. But those are some of the lesson plans that I'm working on right now. Again, I'm busy doing things like SketchUp, AutoCAD, the laser engraving, VCarve. So it's been a bit overwhelming in that sense and trying to work on my schooling, do my practicum, and then build lesson plans on top of that. But this is where I am right now. So I'm hoping to have 4 or 5 lesson plans built in the next month, maybe as soon as our schooling wraps up in mid-November there, and it gives me that bit of a breather between that and January. I'll have more time to do it. That's where it stands right now. This is blog number 7. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed my guest today, Tim. Once again, E&G, alumni of Windsor. Guy's a beauty. So that's my entry, Tim, and I will see you in the next one.